Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Karen's brat came into my yard to get their ball. I threatened to call the cops. After that, ruin my summer? Enjoy not going to university. And after that, am I the jerk for asking for either my PS4 or $1,000 from my brother during his time of need? Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen gets the cops called on her. Not if I call them on you first. So please smash that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Karen's brat came into my yard to get their ball. I threatened to call the cops. I have to live next to this lady and I don't want to be enemies for no good reason. And also, I need to know if I'm in the wrong before any legal action is taken. I am 36, female. I originally moved into a new house with my husband, 37, male, which is in a nice suburban neighborhood. Originally, there was no trouble, and then trouble arose. Our neighbors on one side consist of a mother and 4 kids. They seem nice enough and quiet. I don't know how old the kids are, but there's 2 tween boys, and the younger ones are a girl and a boy. When it happened, my husband was at work and I was driving home. As I was driving down the street, I saw one of the older boys walk into my yard, bend down, pick up a ball, and go back to his house. I was angry because I was raised with the idea of never trespassing into someone else's yard like that without permission. I confronted the boy and he said he was sorry, but you could tell he didn't even really mean it. So I went and talked to his mother and I didn't get anywhere there. She didn't seem to take me seriously at all and she told me that I was overreacting. I felt like she was invalidating my feelings and I snapped and told her that she better not let her kids trespass in my yard again, otherwise I would call the police, and she called me a jerk. So she escalated into name-calling first and shut the door in my face. I'm upset. My husband hasn't said much, but he's promised to install security cameras. I want to know your opinions based on the reasons above. Well, who do you agree with, OP or the neighbor? Please let us know. Someone needs to get OP some milk. Ruin my summer? Enjoy not going to university. This was a little over 10 years ago in my early 20s, but it's still one of my favorite stories of karma that suited well to my revenge. As a teenager, I got a part-time job as a lifeguard at the biggest pool in the city, if not the province. I was a hard worker, and over the years, I had every certification I could get. Over the summers, I'd often work on nearby beaches. One year, these rural beaches had a really hard time keeping staff, so they'd ask people from my pool to work there. It just so happened my parents had a cottage on one of the beaches, and I said, hey, I'd be interested. Working at middle of nowhere beach? It would be peaceful, and I can come home on weekends if I want. I took the job about 4 hours away from home for a 10-week contract. I was a lifeguard instructor trainer. I certify people to teach other people how to train lifeguards. At the time of this story, I was one of the youngest to have this certification. Most of my coworkers were going into their 2nd year of working on this beach, and frankly, 2nd year of being a lifeguard. It was going to be my 1st year working in this area. Basically, the head manager told me, look, it's your first time working out here. We need someone with your experience. We can't give you beach captain's position, management, on paper, but we are willing to pay you at a beach captain rate plus extra for your certifications, and you can fill in as beach captain on days when the others can't. As far as we're concerned, you're an alternate. We just don't want to upset the locals more than we need to. Be advised though, you may need to work at a few other beaches out around there. More pay? Fewer responsibilities? Yeah, I guess I can take this one for the team. Here's what you need to know about this place. The area is a naturally beautiful place. This is one of the best drives on the continent, one of the top 15 islands in the world. Mountains to the left, endless oceans to the right, beaches everywhere. It's also one of the poorest parts of the country, and some communities have a mob mentality when outsiders come to work here. For the most part, my coworkers liked me and appreciated my experience, except for the one beach captain we'll call Maggie. Everyone employed goes to a training camp retreat. District managers go for 5 days, beach captains go for 4 days, and general staff goes for 3 days. I was only asked to show up for the general staff, did my thing, met my new coworkers. Maggie rubs me the wrong way and started calling me rookie, and then she left. Turns out she was graduating high school and had prom to attend. She didn't want to do the rest of the training because of all of the after-prom parties. Okay, that's weird. I'm waking up at 7 a.m. to do a 10-kilometer run with everyone before breakfast, and you're passed out after a night of drinking. I'm annoyed, but if I could pull it off, I might do the same. No biggie. How could she pull off getting out of mandatory training, you ask? She's a family legacy. Once upon a time, her mom was the beach captain and now runs the local pool in the middle of nowhere town. If you were certified as a lifeguard around there, you had to go through her. Maggie's sister was the beach captain, then district manager, and recently retired from the service and went to nursing school. Maggie was the next in line to do this. She was going to be awarded a scholarship through the lifeguard service for her school of choice. At the end of the summer, there's an AGM where they make all these announcements, but it was a well-known secret. Day 1 of the summer on the beach starts. We're setting up the beach. It's a half day, not many patrons around. We organize first aid kits, equipment, set up our hut, test the phones, etc. District manager, a local, arrives to inspect everything. He's happy. He's a buddy of mine, and as we were the last stop of his beaches to inspect, he hangs out with us. Day's up, and Maggie's mother shows up and tells her to start packing for the swimming instructor symposium. Turns out, Maggie is leaving tomorrow for the Dominican Republic on her pool's dime for 3 weeks. That's 30% of the lifeguard season. She actually tells me, "See you in 3 weeks, rookie," and leaves. The district manager and I drop our jaws and wonder, what the heck? Why is this only coming out now? I help him out. We sit down and come up with a new schedule for the next 3 weeks. My supervisor filled in some of her shifts, and we even worked together a few times. Now, looks like I have to be a beach captain with the actual new guards at least 3 weeks. It was more work for me, but honestly, Maggie's departure was a blessing. I've hardly met her, but I doubt we're going to get along. She rubs me the wrong way. Those 3 weeks without her, I got a great feng shui, zen groove, and inner harmony thing going on. It was the healthiest mentally and physically I've been in my life. Of course, the lack of negative emotions directed toward me would not last. It ended the day Maggie returned, literally within the first hour of us working together. Maggie, my beach captain, started our day together by berating me in front of her friends. "Hey, rookie, do you even know how to do CPR? I was watching you at training camp and you were doing it wrong. I need you to show me how to do it right now." You want me to show you how to do CPR? Sure, no problem. Could ask nicer, but whatever, I'll put up with this. We have to practice so much every day anyway. Then she drops this bit of information while I practice incorrectly. "If you don't have anything under them, you'll dig a hole in the sand." Maggie, this doesn't make sense, but whatever. It's not like I'm an instructor in this or anything, or have basic knowledge of physics that pushing on sand isn't the same thing as digging. The whole day consisted of Maggie calling me rookie and being pointlessly rude in her critiques of my life-saving skills. Of course, it wouldn't be a good work story unless someone stole someone's lunch. "Hey Maggie, is that my lunch in your mouth right now?" "Oh, was that your lunchbox?" "Well, it wasn't your lunchbox, was it?" I'm the beach captain. You can't talk to me like that." This would become our daily routine on our shifts together. I began packing a decoy lunch with half-eaten items or empty wrappers. This gave me the opportunity to hide and eat my real lunch without her bothering me. By week 4, it's our mid-season evaluation. There's 2 parts, physical evaluation and professional evaluation. District manager does the physical and it's straightforward. All employees show up at the beach before it opens. You run 4K, swim 600 meters, paddle 2K, etc. Apparently, I embarrassed Maggie. I was the most improved from start of the season to the end of season. I was already in the top 25%, but now I was physically one of the top 5%. Maggie, however, got worse. A lot worse. She was mediocre, but in the general top 50%, but was now one of the worst physical guards, bottom 10%. Her times all were substantially lower, but luckily for her, it's not all physical. There's still the professional evaluation. The beach captain who works with you the most writes up your evaluation. You get a score out of 50, 10 5-point characteristics, punctual, customer service, safety, etc. You get graded and short notes are written to explain your score. At the bottom, there's a recommendation section on what to do and work on. One of the other beach captains who tolerated Maggie wrote her evaluation and it wasn't all bad. Of course, Maggie was the one who wrote my evaluation, despite only working with me a few times. I don't get to see it, which is normal, and when it's done, she passes it into the boss. Once it's handed in, the district manager pulls Maggie and I aside. He rips it up in front of us and says, "Maggie, this isn't a real evaluation. You gave him all zeros. Your notes are incoherent and, in the recommendation section, you told him to leave and never come back. This is not acceptable. I've worked with him more than you did. I'm going to write up the mid-season evaluation." Maggie breaks down in tears, plays the victim that the outsider is taking her job and she's protecting herself. Manager's not buying it, but ultimately goes easier on her. Temper's cool. I get a modest review with things to improve on. Right away, I knew this would happen again and I'd need to make notes to defend myself. I have a reputation in the life-saving community I'd like to keep. Things got weirder after this. Aside from up-teen mentions of calling me rookie against my wishes, my notebook was getting filled. Some highlights include, she stole my rooster ketchup with a green top and lathered her hot dog only to get upset with me. She wrote me up for tricking her with hot sauce, though she really stole my sriracha. Went on a walking patrol down the beach for 2 hours only to end up hanging out with her friends, drinking on the beach, and having a fire. Double no-no. Called her dealer to deliver to her while on guard, not even discreetly. I taught the junior guards some basic stuff. Once the class is over, she goes up to the parents and tells them I taught all of the wrong things, and it's basically done this way instead. On a particularly bad day, she went off on the middle-aged gentleman with Down syndrome who normally brings treats to her because he didn't bring any treats on this day. Things were cartoonishly stupid. Why would someone act this way? Turns out she was also bashing me to the other guards. They had regularly informed me of stuff like this. "Hey, just so you know, Maggie told me you hit someone's car with a hammer. Obviously you didn't, but heads up, she's telling the locals about it." What did I get myself into? This is ridiculous. My summer paradise at the beautiful place on earth is ruined by a succubus leeching off of the inner peace. I was at my end. This isn't worth it. I want to go home. I'm belittled by an entitled brat, and I don't need this as much as they need me. I'm going to sleep it off and think with a clear head in the morning. Note, this place is a sleepy beach town. It's heavily wooded and not many cell towers. Reception isn't great. Also, it's hot summer. I live alone. I hate pants. When I'm home, I'm probably not wearing any. And the lock on the door isn't great. It works, but with a bit of effort, you can get past it. We basically put an exterior padlock on the door when we are away for extended periods. But hey, no one knows anyone's living here, right? Who's going to come bother me out here in the middle of nowhere? 5:30 a.m. Boom, boom, boom. Huh? What's happening?
Link Hanford. Answer your phone. I've been calling you all night. Why aren't you wearing any pants? That's gross. You have to work at the beach further away today. I've got an appointment I've had scheduled for months and can't change it. You need to go there, or I won't be back in time.
Wait, what's going on? Why is she in my house right now? I thought to myself as I was startled and jumped up, covering myself with whatever I could find. I raised my temper and got her out of my home as quickly as possible and say to myself, "That's it, I'm done. This isn't worth it." I call my district manager, tell him the rundown of what's been happening lately. Initially, he thought I might be embellishing the truth a bit because it's all so ridiculous. He tells me if I go to work, there's 2 weeks left in the contract. He'll make sure Maggie and I don't work together anymore as long as I can stick around. Later on, I'm begrudgingly working at the further away beach, and we get a call. It's the district manager. "Link Hanford, I owe you an apology. I thought you were making this stuff up. Maggie just called to report you for not wearing any pants and yelling at her." As she explained this, she admitted to walking into your home. What do you want to do about this? District manager, which beach captain or alternate has worked with Maggie the most in this summer? Looks like it's you by a fair bit. Is she allowed to do my end of season valuation? No, because of what she did with your mid-season. We've decided that I would do it personally again. Okay, great. Who gets to do hers then? Well, you can guess where this ended up. As luck would have it, Maggie and I got to work together once more due to someone being sick. The whole time she's telling me,
"I'm going to make your review so bad, you're going to wish you never came back here, rookie."
At that point, I just smiled with a big grin. The summer may have its last dawn, but this will be the end of you, Maggie. Writing up Maggie's end of season evaluation was between the supervisor and I. The rest of the staff were unaware of this, so I used the final days talking to the staff. What's the weirdest thing Maggie did to you this summer? Here's the highlights. Stole the pretty boy guard's car keys at the end of the day to keep him around because she was flirting with him. He had to go right to the hospital to visit his mom. Gradually, through the course of a day, she spiked the guard's work water bottle with vodka. He had never been so drunk before and had to drive home. After hours, she went to a lifeguard girls' night out and skipped out on the bill. No, she wasn't invited again after that. I'm composing her end-of-season evaluation. I'm smart about it. I grade reasonably well with things, to her credit, she was good at. She improved her swimming skills, which is something after all. But everything else, I avoid grading a 1 as much as possible to avoid looking like I'm purposely out to get her. More than just grading, I'm providing written documentation to back this up. I've got my journal of horrible Maggie moments, my coworkers' experiences with her, and I've been smart enough to make copies of our notes from patrons with her mentioned. But the coup de grace. Recommendations for next season. Recommend not to re-offer beach captain or alternate beach captain position next season. Recommend awarding scholarship to someone else in the service. Not long after this gets submitted, I get a call from the head boss, senior manager, who hasn't been made privy to Maggie and I's situation. Link Hanford, I've known you for a few years. I'm reading Maggie's end-of-season evaluation, and there are some serious allegations here. Her family will likely rebuke this and make it a problem for my office. Not giving her this scholarship sounds harsh. Do you have any documentation to back up any of this? Do you really think that she deserves this? Well, sir, that's ultimately up to you. Here are notes and times from the entire team. Feel free to call any one of them. Here's the footage from my trail cam of her breaking into my home at 5:30 in the morning. Here's the contact info for the gentleman whom she berated. Here's the reports patrons have made about her. Oh, this is bad. Well, thanks for being so thorough with this. Epilogue. Well, word got to her that she wouldn't be receiving her scholarship. Instead, it went to an incredibly nice and hard worker in another district. Maggie's mom complained for a while about come from a ways, taking all the jobs, but then she heard how Maggie treated the gentleman with Down syndrome. She may have been the town's princess, but that man was the salt of the earth and immune to any harsh treatment. Needless to say, Maggie didn't come to the AGM. The next year, I was knee-deep in my casual career and didn't re-enroll in the lifeguard service, but offered my services as a substitute. One of the guards I liked last year calls me to see if I can sub for them for a weekend. I decided I'll do it as long as Maggie isn't working. He laughs and says no, but she's on staff as a regular lifeguard. Well, Maggie wasn't working, but her cousin was. Uh-oh, this can't be good. Our first interaction was kind of amazing. Wait, are you the Link Hanford? Yes. I prepare myself for a day of harassment. Oh man, you are awesome. Maggie and her mom hate you. They're so mean. Our family hates them. She's so entitled and makes us look bad. You're like a legend around here. Well, this is a change from pace from what I was expecting. We became friends over the course of the day, and she explains to me that Maggie thought her scholarship was a sure thing. Her mom pulled strings for her to get it, and it fell through, so she never saved any money for school. Maggie's plans of getting into nursing didn't work out. Maggie's mom took a lateral promotion in the life-saving world. That new position didn't last, and she was laid off, only to go back to her old pool as the assistant to the person who took over her job. She wasn't able to pull any more strings after that. Last time I checked, Maggie went to a community college and took a less expensive continuing care attendant course with the plan of eventually jumping over to nursing when she saves some money. Unfortunately for her, the instructors weren't crazy about her better-than-you attitude, and she was kicked out of the course sometime in second year. Last time I saw her, she was working at the summer ice cream stand by the beach I visited on a lovely vacation to one of the most beautiful places in the world. Am I the jerk for asking for either my PS4 or $1,000 from my brother during his time of need? I'm in a bit of a pickle right now, and I could use some moral judgment. I, 19 female, very avidly play video games. To give you an idea of how passionate I am about them, I'm currently going to college for video game development and computer science. And most people know that playing video games has become a pretty expensive hobby. So back when I was a preteen, I received a PS4 as a Christmas gift from my dad. I had to pay for all the games and anything extra, but that's okay. So I've bought tons of games and have probably spent nearly $1,000 in games and DLC, all from my own pocket. A few years ago, My older brother, 25 male, started liking video games too, so he began using my PS4 regularly to the point that he used it more than even I did. We began splitting the prices of games we wanted to play, and it made it easier on both of us doing that. Here's where the issue comes in. My brother had been living at home for a couple years while he went to a community college in our hometown, but a couple of years back, he moved several hours away to attend a different college. When he did that, he took the PS4 with him. I was not made aware of this until he had already moved out. I came back home one day from a friend's house to find that the console, controllers, and all of the games were missing. Turned out, he lied to our mom that I had given him permission to take it. Turns out, his girlfriend had apparently taken a liking to The Sims 4 and played it pretty much non-stop on our PS4 and wanted to make her happy. I made the decision that once he graduated and worked full-time, then I'd ask for him to either return the PS4 and all games, controllers, and game drives, or to reimburse me for it. Now that the time has come, he graduated months ago and ended up landing a great paying job. So I finally took the time and asked him what I stated in the previous paragraph. He ended up going off and yelling at me. Apparently, his girlfriend decided to become a stay-at-home wife and he's paying the bills. He thought I was aware of this, so he was super upset that I'd be such a greedy jerk in his time of need. I told him that he didn't have to give me money if he just gave me back what was mine. And if he did give me money, I didn't need it right now, nor in a single payment. But he said that his girlfriend was super attached to it, so he couldn't do that to her. We argued more before he ended up hanging up and blocking me on everything. The reaction was so extreme that I'm wondering if I was wrong. I didn't realize he was having financial issues, but I guess I should have been more in the know, considering his family. Edit. Just found out he lied about the financial hardships. Talked to some family members and found out that the only bills he pays is the electric bill because he's living in my grandfather's old home. I will be calling from my mom's phone tomorrow to let him know that I'm taking him to small claims court. Thank you, everyone. Edit 2. Had a lot of people confused as to why I waited until he graduated to ask for my PS4 back. I didn't include some info in the post because I hit my character limit. I did ask for it back immediately after it was stolen, and we ended up coming to an agreement that we'd switch off having the PS4 each month. After a few months of doing this, he stopped bringing it back. I realized I was not going to get it back until he could buy himself his own PS4 and games, so the PS4 was truly only missing for a year. Update. I was ruled as not the jerk, and it made me finally realize how much of a pushover I've been to my brother. It took many comments encouraging me to take action that finally convinced me to take back what's mine. And now I can very proudly say that we've won. The day after I originally made my post was pretty crazy. I took the advice of many Redditors to threaten to take my brother to small claims court. So that morning I called my brother through my mom's phone to let him know that I'll be taking him to a small claims court. He did answer, but he laughed off my claim and hung up. This is where I decided to take another Redditor's recommendation of getting my family involved. For those of you who are unaware, my brother currently lives in the house that my grandfather owns. He basically lives there for free and only has to pay electric. So I called my grandfather. He was livid. He told me not to worry about anything and that he'd handle it. I got off the phone with my grandfather and I got a call from my brother about half an hour later. My brother said he'd bring the PS4 and all of the accessories to my apartment on Sunday, but I ended up heeding the advice of a Redditor and put down my own terms. I told him that I expected it at my house tomorrow after he got home from work and that I'd be recording the exchange if he tried something funny. Thank you to another Redditor for that. About an hour later, I texted my brother's girlfriend the question that many people were wondering. Did she know that he stole it from me? The answer is luckily no. She did not know that it was stolen from me. Weirdly, she did know it was stolen, but she thought it was stolen from one of his friends that he used to smoke with. After we talked, she offered to take all of my belongings to my aunt's house for safekeeping until she could drive it over to me when she goes on a trip upstate, since I live about 2 hours away. I will be recording her as well, even if I trust her a bit more. And for those wondering, what did my grandpa do to my brother to make him change up his act so quick? He gave my brother 30 days to move out before he kicked him out. But the real kicker was that he threatened to take my brother out of his will. Keep in mind that this was not the first time my brother has been a snake to a family member. This just happened to finally be the breaking point. So my brother finally got what was coming to him. He lost the PS4, all of its accessories, his home, and me. So there it is, everyone. the surprisingly short end to our endeavor. This could not have been possible without the support, advice, and judgment that all of the kind people on this subreddit have provided me with. Cheers to our victory, my friends. P.S. I've had a lot of people upset that I ruined the relationship with my brother and got him kicked out over an old console. This is not the first time my brother has stolen from me or other people. He's stolen jewelry, electronics, and money from my wallet so that he could buy stuff. Not only that, he's always been hostile to me and is nothing like a brother to me. I have 3 more siblings, so I know what a good sibling relationship looks like. That's why I don't plan on continuing my relationship with him. It's not just about the PS4. And he's done these things to several other family members and my grandfather, who my brother currently lives in the house of. My brother had several warnings from my grandpa and was going to be kicked out if he pulled something again. The PS4 situation was just the breaking point for all of this. Hopefully that cleared up any confusion. Lady snatches dinosaur model out of my hands. So I was heading to a toy store, name redacted for privacy's sake, because they had informed me they had the new Coelphysis model made by Safari Limited. I didn't have that model in my collection, and I usually order my models there, and I have a good enough relationship with the store workers to let me know when a certain model on my list is available. Or sometimes I prepay them to have a certain item in stock, and they always have provided. So I go into the store wearing a red shirt because I felt like it, and normally the toy store workers wear red, but they have tags on, so you know where this is going. So I enter the store and ask if they have the Coelphysis, and they point me in the right direction, since in this case it wasn't one of the models I prepaid them for. So I see the Coelphysis among other models. It wasn't the only one, and I get my hands on it. When I take it off the shelf, a lady says to me, "Oh, thank you. I can take it from here." I turn around and see this lady that looks like she is in her late 30s holding out her hand to me, expecting me to just plop the dinosaur in her hands. I was looking confused for a moment, and then she got frustrated and asked me if I was hard of hearing. I asked why she wanted me to hand over the model I wanted, and she asked what I meant. I was an employee. I suddenly got her assumption and told her that no, I don't work here. I was just a customer. She fumed and pointed out that I was wearing the same shade of red as the workers. I responded that red is not exclusive to this store, and if she would excuse me, I was going to purchase the Coelphysis. She then got intrusive and started asking why would an adult collect dinosaur models. I responded that people are allowed to have hobbies and tried to move on. Apparently, not satisfied with my answer, she blocked me and snatched the Coelphysis out of my hands and went to the counter. I was about to shrug my shoulders and grab the spares, not wanting to escalate, until I realized that she had also taken the other Coelphysis models on the shelf. The other remaining models were a Brachiosaurus and Microraptor, by the way. A little bit infuriated at this, but keeping my calm, I went to the counter and asked her to give it back and told the people at the counter that she had snatched the model out of my hands. They asked her if it was true, and she actually told the truth, but only because I was being a bad employee, lying about wanting the model for myself and not providing good customer service. Now the counter workers, who had seen me enough times as a consistent buyer, pointed out to the lady that I wasn't a worker and she got huffy. She then said that she was the proper purchaser because she was getting them for her kid, while an adult shouldn't be playing with toys. That maybe if I wasn't collecting them, I would properly become an adult. So one of the counter workers called the store owner, who came to ask what was going on. After explaining, he had a frown on his face and went to check the security footage. After seeing that she had snatched it out of my hands and had escalated the situation, he ordered her to give me my Safari model, or that he would have her ousted from the store. Now, the store owner is a big guy, so she withered under his gaze a bit and gave me my Safari. I calmly thanked her. I really didn't want to have to deal with her any further, and the store people, but I will admit I did enjoy seeing her crumple at the sight of a very annoyed burly guy. And now I have a Coelphysis in my collection. Don't you remember me? I recently found a new job after losing my serving job due to lockdown. About a week and a half at this new job, I get set a family of 3, mom, dad, and their daughter. I greet them and introduce myself, asking if I can start them with beverages. They're perfectly polite and I return with drinks. Then the dad says to me, "Don't you recognize me?" I'm confused. "No, sir." "Dad, are you kidding me? We left you a really good tip. We were just here a month ago." Me, "Sir, I wasn't working here a month ago. I was hired 2 weeks ago. No, you were our waitress and I tipped you a lot. Now he was getting angry and insisted I was lying. His wife looked embarrassed. Then he started trying to be passive-aggressive, but honestly, he wasn't very good at it. Anytime I walked past his table or checked on them, he would say something like, "Wow, you're giving such great service," or "You're doing amazing, great job." To try to rectify once more, I asked him directly, "Sir, are you truly upset with me? I really was not employed here a month ago. I believe today is my 10th day here." He was still passive-aggressive, saying, "Oh, no, 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 no. You are wonderful," and grinning like a madman. I just smile and say, "Okay." Honestly, I thought it was funny that he was so upset about this, and it didn't really bother me. I'd always reply, "Thank you," to his fake compliments. Towards the end of their meal, I stop by to offer dessert or a check. My manager happened to be walking past, and I say to her, "Hey, these guys were in here just a month ago, and they can't believe that I don't remember them." My manager chuckles and says, "Well, that's because we hadn't hired you yet," then walks off. The dad is giving me a death glare because I just proved that I was honest and that he had been mistreating me all evening. When I brought the check, which is digital, he was asking how to tip less than 15 to 25% that the machine had offered as a suggestion. "I want to tip you exactly 6.2%. How do I tip exactly 6.2? That's all you're getting, exactly 6.2%. His wife was mortified and asked him to lower his voice, but mostly just stared down at the table. I point and show him where to type the custom tip percentage. He keeps trying to look into my soul to make sure he's upset with me. I can't help but picture a toddler screaming and crying while watching him have a tantrum. I had no hoots to give. I let him know I definitely remember him next time. I'm thinking about calling him 6.2% generous tip guy, or maybe just 6.2% when I see him next.
And huge shout out to Michaela, our newest official channel member. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, it really means the world to us. Click this button to join as a channel member and we'll give you a shout out in our next video.
And come watch this video next, you will love it.